Thank you, Madam President. I move that the Board of Education adopt the resolution titled Protection of School Tax Revenues from Abatement as previously distributed to the members of this board. And with your permission, I'd like to read the resolution into the public record.
Please do.
Resolution, Protection of School Tax Revenues from Abatement. Whereas the Mount Vernon City School District depends heavily on local property tax revenues to fund its educational programs, facilities, and staff, and whereas the Mount Vernon Industrial Development Agency has periodically granted long-term tax abatements, particularly to housing developments under payment in lieu of taxes pilot agreements, which divert or reduce school tax revenues that would otherwise support the Mount Vernon City School District. And whereas these tax abatements can significantly affect the district's financial stability, its ability to maintain programs, and the educational opportunities afforded to Mount Vernon students. Now, therefore, be it resolved that the Board of Education of the Mount Vernon City School District affirms that only a duly elected school board should have the authority to abate school tax revenues, that the Mount Vernon City School District must retain full and exclusive control over its own tax base, and that the district's share of local property taxes must be protected from abatement by the Mount Vernon Industrial Development Agency or any other entity. Be it further resolved that the board directs the superintendent or his designee to transmit this resolution to the Mount Vernon Industrial Development Agency, the Mount Vernon City Council, and the New York State Legislature for their consideration. Thank you.
Okay. I would like to entertain a motion to consider. Okay, entertain a motion.
A second? A second?
I need a motion. Who motion?
Okay.
Second. Trustee McDonough. Discussion.
May I begin as the one who introduced the resolution?
Yes, please.
Thank you. In October 2025, the Good Government Advocacy Group Reinvent Albany, in collaboration with students in the State Policy Advocacy Clinic at the Brooks School of Public Policy at Cornell University, issued a new report titled Policy Crossroads, Reconsidering IDA Housing Tax Breaks in New York. I'd like to just read a couple of brief quotes that were made in response to that report. The first quote, "It is of grave concern to us that school districts are forced to give away tax dollars intended for them to subsidize economically ineffective and ethically challenged industrial development agencies. In the meantime, school districts have to tax home and business property owners at higher rates to make up for the shortfalls because of IDAs. In a state which has the highest property taxes in the country, we need to be reversing this regressive tax system, which particularly impacts small businesses and low and moderate income homeowners." That quote was from Reverend Peter Cook, the executive director of the New York State Council of Churches. And a second quote, "Every community deserves both affordable housing and well-funded public schools, not one at the expense of the other. It's long past time to rein in IDAs, ensure transparency, and protect the school funding that belongs to our classrooms, not in corporate subsidies." That quote is from Melinda Person, the president of the New York State United Teachers, the union that represents our teachers. Madam President, adoption of this resolution will signal the board's unified stance to safeguard school tax revenues. It will strengthen our position in discussions with the Mount Vernon Industrial Development Agency and other governmental agencies that would contemplate abating school taxes, and it will provide a formal basis for communicating our position to the Mount Vernon City Council, the Mount Vernon Industrial Development Agency, and the New York State Legislature. Madam President, this resolution doesn't attack any specific development project. It simply establishes a principle that no outside agency should have the authority to give away school tax dollars without the formal consent of this elected school board body. Thank you.
Thank you. Do we have anyone that would like to speak in opposition of the motion? Trustee Peterson.
Thank you, President Marable. And I am all for this. However, like I mentioned previously to Trustee McDonough, we have to propose legislation. We have to almost do like a us two type of thing where, like in the state of New Jersey, that's what they did. Districts got together and they were able to change some of their pilot laws. So we have to propose legislation. Us having this resolution, that's saying Westchester County can say the same thing. Oh, we don't want our taxes abated either without our say-so. We have to propose legislation, solid legislation to go to the state, go up there, present this so we can make it solid.
Anyone for? Vice President Mitchell?
So, Trustee McDonough, thank you for bringing this this new business. We've listened to countless presentations on the how pilots have been destroying our school district for several years before you came on and you took the helm of the IDA committee, our committee. So you provided more light, but it's very simple. You can go on Google and just look up the negative impact of New York IDAs on schools. And to recap, reduced funding, higher taxes for residents, flawed tax cap formula, and perverse incentives. You look at the fact that this has played a part in why we had gentlemen speak to why teachers feel unappreciated. IDAs and these pilots' impact on school district dollars has played a role in why we're where we are now, where we can't just tell our bread and butter, which is our teachers, show them, here's appreciation. It's part of the formula. It's not just all the other things that we have been shown over the past year and change about fiscal disarray. It also has a great deal to do with this. So, but I will not deny that we should definitely do it right. So I hear what Trustee Peterson is saying, and I think that I believe legal should be the main conjuncture here that tells us how do we move, how can we move right now, what goes next. I think it would be best to hear to our President Marable your ideas.
Okay, do we have anyone that opposes? Anyone else on the opposing side? Okay, I do want to clarify a couple of things, and then I'll recognize Trustee McDonough. This is a proposal to support the impact that IDAs, the negative impact that IDAs have on public schools. There is a vehicle through NISBA where we actually have an advocacy group where we can present this particular motion if we support it as a board. Once we support it or vote or decide to support it or not as a board, if we decide to support it, we present it to the NISBA advocacy group. We could also ask other school districts to join us in that process. It doesn't have to go through legislation. What it does is it provides us an opportunity to have others advocate and have the membership arm who actually has legislative tentacles, so to speak, that will actually they lobby for us. So that would be the vehicle or the way that they would actually assist us in trying to get this through legislation, because what happens with legislation is it gets backlogged and it gets sitting on someone's desk, and it never goes anywhere. So this is actually, I believe, a vehicle that would actually help to move the agenda along in a process that would minimize the impact if we can get other people to join us. But we as a board have to agree that it's something that's necessary. Okay. Trustee McDonough.
Yeah, that was very well put. And Trustee Peterson, I do agree. I think there is a long-term legislative solution. I think this is one initial step in that direction. This binds us together to a principle that we should be in control of our own tax base. And Trustee Mr., just to put a little context on this, I know I presented a lot of numbers to you guys in the past, but I did a little bit of work just to get something real tight for tonight. So from 2020 to 2024, okay, I used the IDA's audited financial statements to pull this data, okay? I tracked 20 projects that received these payment in lieu of taxes agreements. Had those 20 projects paid their full school taxes over that period of time, they would have paid us $19.67 million, okay? Instead, they made pilot payments to us in the amount of $5.8 million. That means we had to go forego $13.85 million in taxes just from 2020 to 2024. That is very, very significant to our tax coffers. We should be in control of deciding that. No other body should. So this is a first step, I think. That's all. So thank you.
Any other, Trustee Peterson?
To piggyback off of what Trustee McDonough said, I also was doing research, and I was astounded that Mount Vernon has so many pilots with residential developing built, like we have an abnormally, it is usually pilots should be with big businesses that come in that we will have business from and that can create income and things like that and jobs to the community. And Mount Vernon has it with all these housing. And it's so, that has set us back so much. And I don't think really, and it wasn't until I really sat down, went through the numbers, and I was digging, and I was like, this is insane, and how it has contributed to the decline of our school district. So let's go. First step.
Okay.
Let's go.
Any other questions? Are we ready to call for the vote? All those in favor? Aye. Oppose? Abstain? Motion carries. Thank you.